All right, welcome to this edition of the Native News Update. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain. Many of the stories right here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. Here is the news from the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Mohawk warriors from the Akwesasne Reserve near Cornwall, Ontario, say they are willing to storm a Canadian Border Service Agency post June 1st and shut it down, including the international border crossings, unless their political leaders receive a commitment from the federal government not to arm border guards at the post, which stands on reserve territory. The CBSA started arming guards in 2007, and officers at the Akwesasne Reserve, which straddles the Ontario-Quebec-New York boundary, are scheduled to begin carrying 9mm handguns today while they're on duty. The Mohawks say they don't want armed guards at the post because it would violate their sovereignty and increase the likelihood of violent confrontations. "We are going to clear them out," said Thomas Stacy, a middle-aged former professional wrestler who stood across from the border post with a small group of young men carrying the large Mohawk warrior flags this weekend. They kept a low profile Saturday during a peaceful rally organized by the Akwesasne Mohawk Council. About 100 people gathered at the post to demand that the CBSA not arm the guards and that their demand be sent to officials in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. The Mohawk Warriors are a long-standing group that is separate from the hereditary chiefs or modern-day elected chiefs and consuls. Stacy said they have made it clear to the consul and to the Akwesasne police that if the government does not back away from its plan, the Warriors will act. Seventh Generation funds to Tonka Oyate project. Horse Butte neighbors of Buffalo and the Buffalo Field campaign shared a traditional honoring ceremony for the wild buffalo on Horse Butte Peninsula on May 31st. Horse Butte is a culturally significant site, home to a spectacular array of native wildlife and plant species, with local residents and a private wildlife preserve supportive of wild buffalo on the land. Each year, hundreds of buffalo migrate to this cattle-free peninsula for winter forage and spring calving grounds, but Montana's livestock interests forcibly prevent them from maintaining a year-round presence. Bison advocates are working together to usher in the day when buffalo are welcome to the Horse Butte area and surrounding lands at all times of the year. The traditional ceremony honoring wild buffalo was led by Lakota Chief Arvil Looking Horse, keeper of the White Buffalo Calf Pipe, on Gallatin National Forest lands in Horse Butte. For more information on the Buffalo Field Campaign, you can find them at buffalofieldcampaign.org. Kansas Senator Sam Brownback has reintroduced the Native American Apology Resolution on April 30th, and a companion proposal, H.J. Resolution 46, was introduced in the House by Oklahoma Representative Dan Boran. The resolution seeks reconciliation and offers an official apology to Native peoples for the poor choices the federal government made in the past, Brownback said. "I firmly believe that in order to move forward, you have to have true reconciliation. The federal government needs to formally apologize." Brownback first introduced the apology resolution in the year 2005. The resolution would extend a formal apology from the U.S. to tribal governments and Native people nationwide for its long history of official depredations and ill-conceived policies that resulted in indigenous people being dispossessed of millions of acres of land, lingering poverty, and ongoing erosion of tribal sovereignty, largely through the judicial branch. Current co-sponsors of the resolution are Senators Baucus of Montana, Boxer of California, Cantwell of Washington, Coburn of Oklahoma, Crapo of Idaho, Dorgan of North Dakota, Harkin of Iowa, Inouye of Hawaii, Lieberman of Connecticut, and Senator John Tester of Montana. Broadband penetration on Indian lands is estimated at less than 10%. Eliminating barriers to broadband investment, deployment, and adoption is critical to Native nations' ability to secure their homelands, educate their citizens, and maintain growing economies. As part of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009, the U.S. Congress has established a Broadband Technology Opportunities Program to develop and expand broadband services to rural and underserved areas and improve access to broadband to public safety agencies. Funding will be available to encourage sustainable adoption of broadband services, to upgrade technology and capacity at public computing centers, and to develop and maintain statewide broadband inventory maps. You can get more information on that at ntai.doc.gov. Chickasaw Nation Governor Bill Anotubi says a subsidiary of the tribe will try to buy Remington Park Racetrack and Casino in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The Chickasaw governor said that the tribe's Global Gaming Solutions will do all it can to buy the facility in Lone Star Park at Grand Prairie, Texas. The two horse racing facilities are among four being sold by bankrupt Magna Entertainment Corporation. It wasn't known what other entities are interested in bidding on Remington, but May 27th was the deadline for prospective bidders to submit an expression of interest. Must specify the properties bidders are interested in acquiring, the price range they would be prepared to pay, and how they would finance the purchase and the plans for the property. Two members of the Mashpee Wampanoag tribe are asking a federal judge to reconsider their land claim against the town of Mashpee in the state that was dismissed last month during May. Amelia Bingham and her son Stephen sought in their October lawsuit to reclaim land originally deeded to the descendants of the South Sea Indians, by which the Wampanoag were known in the colonial times. Judge George O'Toole dismissed the suit on May 6, saying the Binghams do not have the authority to bring the suit if the land belonged to the tribe, and they had not proved they were descendants of those who signed the deed. The Binghams have filed an amendment complaint that says they can prove their lineage. Town officials tell the Cape Cod Times they will fight the lawsuit. The federal government says it will make a preliminary ruling by the end of the year on whether to officially recognize Long Island's Shinnecock Indian Nation. Recognition might give tribal leaders the right to open a casino in the famed Hamptons region. They say the casino would help improve living conditions for the tribe. Some elected officials are concerned about the impact a casino would have, while others are open to studying the issue. A federal government settlement requires the Interior Department to make a preliminary decision by December 15th of this year. The Shinnecocks are based in Southampton, New York. Thomas Beerhead Swaney, a former chairman of the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes of Montana, has passed away at age 78. Swaney passed away May 28th at his daughter's house, his family said. Swaney's nephew, current Confederated Tribes Chairman James Steele Jr., says his uncle was instrumental in creating the Mission Mountains Wilderness, the designation of the Flathead Indian Reservation as a Class 1 airshed, and protecting the lower Flathead River from more dams after Kerr Dam was built in the 1930s. Swaney served 2 terms on the tribal council from 1972 to 1975 and again from 78 to 1981. He served as tribal chairman for a few months in 1978 before being ousted after the council argued he was making decisions without consulting them. If you're a Dakota or Winnebago in Minnesota, you might be there illegally. A Minnesota lawmaker plans to ask Congress to repeal an 1863 federal law that banished certain Dakota and Winnebago Indians from Minnesota. State Representative Dean Erdahl, a Republican from Grove City, Minnesota, held a news conference last week in St. Paul on the subject. Erdahl has sponsored the resolution that he plans to send to Washington, D.C., asking Congress to repeal the tribal banishment. Erdahl is Minnesota's official representative to the Abraham Lincoln Bicentennial Commission. Lincoln signed the law into law in 1863. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank our underwriters for helping us with this broadcast and you for joining with us again. Me, Gwetch.